Identifying.
The king of cakes. Chopper for the win.
G'day guys, welcome back to Cakes by Chopper. Today we have a American football for you. This is a fondant airbrush cake. You're going to start off by leveling your cake. Keep the top part because it'll be the top of the football to help make it rounded. You're going to separate your cake into 2 equal pieces, then place it on top, and you're going to cut out a lemon shape. So just cornering it off, but keep it in a very long oval. You can print a football and trace that if you like. I sort of knew what I was going for. And then once you've got those corners cut off, you can taper down the edges. And you can see it's starting to get that football shape already. Just carve off a little bit at a time and take it easy, because the less you take off each time the better, because you can shape it a lot easier. Then you're going to cut off the little corners at the bottom. Just probably a 1 centimeter border around the bottom to cut down. Then you're going to fill it with a buttercream. And once you're happy, get that level so your cake's not wonky. I just try and smooth it off as best I can. A little bit of buttercream. Now this is where the top part comes in. You're going to cut out a lemon shape and place it on top. And that'll help create the full football, not just a flat top. Then you're going to cover that with the buttercream. Get it as smooth as you can. Once you've finished coating it in the buttercream with the large spatula, I took a small offset spatula to help get a smoother finish, and it helps me get around the edges underneath the bottom a lot easier. So if you have access to one of them, I recommend that you use that. If you don't, you can just use the back of a butter knife. Okay, once it's done, pop it in the fridge and let it set. Then you can roll out your fondant. The reason I let it set is, look, if you see here, I applied the fondant, but then I didn't get it right, so I peeled it back up. With the buttercream being set, the fondant comes away a lot easier and you can fix any laying mistakes. Okay, then just pat it down, making sure it's touching all the way around, and it's not too smooth right now, but don't worry about that. Cut away your excess fondant, clean off the buttercream, just cut away the parts that have buttercream, then roll up your fondant and you use it as a smoothing tool. Because the edges of the football are tapered and round, a flat smoothing tool will actually change the shape of your football, whereas the fondant will mold and make it smoother. Okay, now if you don't want to use the airbrush technique, you can just pre-color your fondant brown. I like the finish of the airbrush, so I went ahead and did that. If you have an airbrush, you want to give it a good 2 or 3 coats. Just remember, work from light to dark. And I used 4 drops of copper, 2 drops of yellow, and 1 drop of brown for this, and it needed 3 applications of that. And then once I'd finished with the bottom coat, I got a brown and just gave it some highlights and some rings where I was going to put the white borders. Okay, now rolling out some of your excess fondant, and then I used a paint scraper. This is a kitchen paint scraper. And then trimmed it off to get these nice thin lines. And the paint scraper helps get it really, really straight, as you can see here. And you can just clip it away and there's very little fuss. Now just put them over the edge of your football, then use your cake scraper to trim off anything that's left over on the bottom. Now we're going to get some more fondant and cut off the stitching. I just rolled it out a little bit thinner than normal, and then see, I trimmed it to the width I like, and just cut a lot of little pieces and put them aside. Then measured out how big I want the middle line that with stitches would go over. Then you just apply them. This will depend on how big your football is, so I can't really give you any sizes. Then taking leftover buttercream, pipe that around a border nice and close to seal it off. And then I just added excess for the effect of grass. And then using a fork, just made it all rough around the edge, so it did look like the football was sitting on some buttercream grass. So there you have it, a football themed cake. Thanks for checking out this video, guys. Be sure to check out some of my other videos and say hi to us on Google+, Facebook and Twitter. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next Friday. Thanks, guys.